Hey everyone, it's Fritz Westover here with Virtual Viticulture Academy and the Vineyard Underground podcast. I'm joined with my other viticulturist,
Rachel White-Caton.
So Rachel, we're at a vineyard today that we have been working with since day one. It's a beautiful site. We really actually were a little concerned when we got here because we thought, oh my goodness, this soil needs a lot of work. But look at the view and we can work with this. And lo and behold, now we're here and you've got your first year of grape growing under your belt. So of course we're here at Caroline and Christian Jones, and our job here today is to teach them how to prune their vines. So you got here before me. How's it going?
I think it's going okay. I think we have a few trunks. We have a couple of different scenarios to play with in here, so it's going to be fun.
Good. Well, let's get right to it. Well, look, there's a vine right here. Let's prune this one. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at this vine and assess how it did in its first year. Rachel, what do you think? How did it do?
I think it did pretty well, but not good enough to have a trunk.
Yeah, right. And so this is a pencil rod bar here. And so to keep this for a trunk, we'd have to be larger than pencil, or about 3/8 of an inch, or if you're in Europe, 8 to 10 millimeters in diameter. And so if we don't get a trunk the first year, we're going to go back down and cut it with about 2 buds down here. We'll leave 2 buds that will grow 2 shoots, and then we're going to get a trunk in year 2. And that's really the most common scenario. So you want us to go ahead and show you how to do that, Christian?
Yes, please.
All right, here we go. I happen to have a set of pruners in my pocket, and I use the Baco. These are the Ergo mediums. They're really nice. Rachel might use a different one. I don't know, but we're going to use these today. And why don't we talk about the wrong way to do this, Rachel? That would be fun. What would be the wrong way? What's the worst thing someone can do with this vine right now in terms of pruning?
Just do this.
Yeah, they could lay it down and take this skinny wood and put it on the wire and then try to grow shoots to produce their fruit this year, but we're only going into year 2. We don't want to do that to these baby vines. The next mistake would be to cut it here at the pruning wire. Now that would be the right thing to do if the wood was thick enough, but it's just not thick enough. It's not quite that 3/8 of an inch. So what's going to happen is you'll have a weak trunk, and the shoots that grow out of it will be even bigger than the trunk wood itself. So we don't want that. We don't want a weak trunk. We don't want to build your vines on a weak foundation. We did a lot of work to work on this soil. Now we're going to do a lot of work to work on your vines and make sure they are going to give you strong foundations. So what we'll do here is I won't even clean up any of this. I'll go right down to the bottom. And if you come in here, you'll be able to see a little closer. We have all 1-year-old wood here. This was a green growing shoot last year. We have a first count bud here, and then a second count bud up here on this vine. And then what we want to do is come all the way up above as high as we can before we hit that third bud and make our cut right here. Okay, so it really looks like we're taking 90% or more of the growth off, because we are. And this is not really a lot of growth. It's a normal amount of growth for year 1. So we'll also clean up some of the dead dry wood there as well. And the whole idea here is we've got 2 buds. So Rachel, what's going to happen with those 2 buds this year?
They're going to grow 2 shoots.
Easy, 2 shoots, and we're going to train those up onto here, and we're going to select our trunk this time next year.
Okay.
So that's example number 1, a very common scenario.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, we've got another scenario here at the Jones residence here, and what do we got here, Rachel?
This guy grew a lot. He's pretty thick, and he looks really healthy.
Yeah, really nice round wood. Come on in here, take a look at this, guys. This is really nice round wood. Okay, it's thicker than pencil size. It's about that 3/8 of an inch that we want to be using for a trunk, or if we want to keep this for a trunk. Now, the fruiting wire's here. So the whole goal here is to create a trunk up to this wire here, and then we're going to grow shoots from that trunk that will fill in the wire here. It's kind of like a horizontal trunk that we call a cordon, and that's where we develop our spurs, and all of our fruit is in this zone. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, right? Let's just go ahead and prune this vine and show them how it's done. So there's a lot of these shoots coming out of the side here, and that's because this is your main shoot, and we have lateral shoots that grow sideways out of your main shoot, but they're not really useful, okay? They're usually smaller wood, so we're going to come in and we're going to cut those out. We're going to leave a little space so we don't cut back too close to the trunk, cause any dieback or drying. And we basically clean this up. We can take off the small laterals. We can even cut the tendrils off if we want to be really fastidious and make it clean. And I'm sure you're going to want to do that here to make everything look nice and clean and straight. Now, you did a great job also tying it up. Look how straight this trunk is, Rachel. Isn't that nice?
It is really nice.
They're not always this straight. So you want to get that trunk straight, and then we're going to pull it up here. And where are we going to cut it? Because this is thick enough to leave as a trunk, we're going to do what we call trunking the vine. We're going to find the we're going to straighten up. We're going to find the first bud underneath the wire, and go up above that and cut. We don't want to leave a bud above the wire because it's going to grow up and it's going to be hard to push that down onto the wire as one of our cordons. So here we go. We're going to cut that out. I'll get that out of the way so you can see what we're dealing with here. This is just what we call trunking a vine. And again, the goal this year is to tie it up with some secure ties. And we're going to let the top 1, 2, 3, 4 buds, whichever one pushes, all 4 of them, grow. And we're going to start training them along this wire here. And for the others that we're not training along the wire, the other 2 we're going to train up into these sets of catch wires. It's going to be amazing how this will look like a more mature vineyard than it is, even in year 2. So this is a great accomplishment to get a trunk in year 1. Congratulations. Not every vine has one.
Thank you.
But we're going to go through today and we're going to find out how many vines got trunks and how many are getting 2 budded. And what's our third scenario today?
1 budding.
1 budding. We'll find some 1 budding to do here for sure. Yeah.
Question for you.
Question.
All right, so you have your trunk vine. Obviously, it's waving around a little bit. Would you just wrap it around the pencil rod there to keep it all nice and secure?
Oh yeah, couldn't you just do that, make it nice and secure? No, he's trying to lead me into
you guys have done this before.
Yeah, exactly. No, we want to tie that straight on here, and we don't want those buds to rub, and we don't want that trunk being girdled as it gets bigger. You know, it's going to get bigger. So thank you, Rachel, for reminding me that that's an important thing to talk about. So there you go. We're ready to go with this one. Wah, wah, wah. We've got a little guy here. So this is the other scenario. Rachel, we come across this a lot. And, you know, what's the worst thing a grower could do with a vine that grew for its first year but didn't even make it up to the wire and is really skinny wood? What's the worst thing they can do?
I'll just tie it up. They've gotten halfway there already, right?
Oh, well, maybe they'll trim this off and trim this little stuff off here and then just tie it up and say, well, maybe I can get a little closer to the wire. Well, we all know that's the wrong thing to do, right? Because this is wimpy wood. We don't want to build a foundation for our trunk on wimpy wood. But if you come in here, you'll see on this one, it is really small wood. We can't even leave a 2-bud spur on this one. So we can clean up some of the stuff that's down there that's dried up and dead. And we really have our first bud here. It's on the back side. And then our second bud here. And so if we 2-bud this, and the top bud grows and the bottom one doesn't, we're going to have a really skinny bottleneck that we don't want for the future of the vine. So what we're going to do is, it's a brave maneuver, but you have to have faith that this vine wants to live here. We're going to go down to 1 bud. We're going to go as high as we can, cut that back to 1 bud. And there's actually other buds at the base of that little spur that I just made there that are from where the 1-year-old wood meets the 2-year-old wood. And so if something happens to this bud, it gets knocked off, or a spring freeze comes along, right? That can happen, Rachel, in Georgia, right?
Happens from time to time.
From time to time. So we basically rely on one of those latent buds at the bottom to push. And so what we'll do is in the spring, we'll come by and prune these and 1-bud them. We'll protect them with a vine protector. These are a nice one that we like to use from Schelt. They have a nice little clip on here, pretty easy to use. And then that will protect that from wind, from breakage. If someone's spraying anything and we have overdrift, we don't have to worry about that. So that one's done. And then the goal this year is to grow 1 strong shoot and make a trunk out of it for next year.
Okay,
right, everybody.
Kristen Jones, it is your turn now to prune some of your vines. Is this the first time you're 2-budding a vine in your life? Okay.
Yes.
Rachel, what do we see here? What's the situation?
Well, this trunk didn't get thick enough all the way up. It is thick enough down here to 2-bud, and then hopefully we'll grow 2 shoots one of them will become our trunk this year.
All right, where are we going to cut it, Christian?
All right, so I just cleaned up around here, and we're looking for 2 buds. So, let me see. That's all this wax here.
Yeah.
There's one right there. Is that right, Rachel?
So this is actually going to be your first clear bud right here on this side. And then this is number 2. Down here, this is actually 2-year-old wood. So this came from the nursery.
Got it.
So we only want to stick with the stuff that we grew this year. You see how it's kind of like...
Yeah, it's like a different... Yeah.
It's a totally
so
different
1,
texture.
2, and I'm going to cut probably just below these 2. Yep. This right here?
Just below that one, correct.
Got it. Right there?
Perfect.
Okay, and I'll clean these up later.
Excellent. Christian, you are officially a grape grower now. You've cut your first vine. How do you feel?
Changed my life.
I'm sure it has.